The man walking in circles inside Mexico's most secure prison is no ordinary person, but the world's biggest and most dangerous drug smuggler, El Chapo. Special CCTV cameras were installed in his cell, and he was monitored 24 hours a day. There was no ventilator and no window in his cell, only a shower area in one corner. The surprising thing is that despite such tight security and constant surveillance, El Chapo walked toward the shower area and then disappeared from the sight of the security staff. After half an hour, when suspicion arose, officers entered the cell, but the world's biggest drug smuggler had already escaped. Where and how did he escape? Let's take a look at El Chapo's life and his escape story. Welcome once again to SMTV's videos. Born in 1957 in a small town in Mexico, El Chapo's real name is Joaquin Guzman. Later, he adopted the name El Chapo. His involvement in drug trading was inherited from his father, who himself was a small-time drug dealer. At a young age, his father threw him out of the house. With no job to survive, and unable to find one, he began selling drugs. At just 15 years old, he started growing drugs himself. He would choose remote areas and cultivate marijuana. Gradually, his drug trade expanded so much that major drug dealers in Mexico wanted him in their gangs. In the 1970s, he joined a drug trafficking gang led by Héctor Luis Palma Salazar. In this gang, he supervised drug smuggling and was extremely strict. If a delivery was late or a small mistake occurred, he would kill the dealer responsible. In 1980, he joined the gang of the famous drug lord Miguel Ángel Félix Gallardo, which was the largest drug trafficking organization in Mexico at the time. El Chapo was given responsibility for logistics and drug shipments, monitoring drugs coming from Colombia to Mexico. In 1989, when Gallardo was arrested by authorities, the gang collapsed. Taking advantage of the opportunity, El Chapo formed his own gang called the Sinaloa Cartel. At that time, drugs were entering the United States mainly through two routes, the Caribbean and the Mexican border. American agencies focused heavily on the Caribbean route, leading to many arrests. El Chapo exploited this and began smuggling drugs into the USA through different channels. He cultivated many types of drugs, including methamphetamine, heroin, ecstasy, cocaine, and marijuana. Cocaine brought him especially high profits. Smuggling drugs into the USA was not easy, so he used clever methods. Initially, he hid low-odor drugs like cocaine inside fire extinguishers, chili pepper cans, or car rims, methods that even drug-sniffing dogs could not detect. However, other drugs could not be smuggled this way. So he adopted a method that became his trademark, tunnels. Investing millions of dollars, he hired experts to build underground tunnels equipped with electricity and ventilation systems. Through these tunnels, he smuggled drugs into the United States. In 1990, officers from the Federal Bureau of Investigation were astonished when they discovered his first tunnel. It was 300 feet long and fully equipped with electricity. The tunnel opened inside a house that served as El Chapo's safe house and could also be used for emergency escape. Over the years, more tunnels were discovered, in places like Tijuana and Otay Mesa, some even equipped with rail systems to transport debris during construction and later to move drugs. Because of his remarkable expertise, El Chapo and his gang became known as the King of Tunnels. His tunnels were so deep that ground-penetrating radar could not detect them. He cleverly concealed tunnel entrances under bathtubs or toilets. He chose Otay Mesa strategically because it was near major transport hubs like Tijuana and San Diego, had noisy industrial areas that masked digging sounds, and had soil soft enough for excavation yet stable enough to prevent collapse. On June 9, 1993, Mexican authorities finally arrested El Chapo and sentenced him to 20 years in prison. However, prison became like his office. By bribing prison staff, he secured every comfort and even arranged business meetings to keep his operations running. In 2001, after a Supreme Court decision eased prisoner transfers between Mexico and the United States, El Chapo feared extradition to the USA, where escape would be nearly impossible. He bribed guards $200,000 and escaped hidden inside a laundry basket. For the next 13 years, he continued his drug trade and crimes without being caught. Eventually, Mexican authorities located him and raided his house. Once again, he attempted escape through a secret tunnel beneath his bathtub, but this time he was quickly captured and sent to the maximum security Altiplano prison. On July 11, 2015, while pacing in his cell, he was last seen near the shower area at 8:50 p.m. The shower area was the only blind spot from the cameras. After half an hour, guards checked the cell. He was gone. He had enlarged the shower drain and accessed a tunnel that connected to a larger passage leading about 1 kilometer away to a construction site. The tunnel was 33 feet underground and wide enough for a person to walk through. However, his freedom did not last long. On January 8, 2016, Mexican Marines raided his safe house in Los Mochis and, after a fierce encounter, captured him again. In 2017, Mexico extradited El Chapo to the United States. He is now serving a life sentence in a Supermax prison in Colorado. Despite maximum security, there remains constant fear that El Chapo might somehow escape again. We hope you liked and shared this SMTV video. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next amazing video.